church is made up of a diversity of people that come from different types of Christianity. Some are credit Episcopalian, some are other denominations, some are non-denominational. Some, with this schism that we're having right now, some people are wondering, why is there a need for a denomination? Why is there a need for a hierarchy in the church? And what are your feelings about how important it is to have this hierarchy without canons, without laws, without priests, without liturgy? Can you address that for us?
Why don't you do? I'll start the sentence and you First of all, I think we see what might have been called a denomination at the time, which was the church, having more than local connections to each other at the very beginning. I don't think you can actually argue for congregationalism biblically, because I don't see it in the book of Acts or the letters of Paul. You already had people who had responsibility for multiple communities, for multiple congregations. And so, if the idea is we can just do our own thing and take care of ourselves, I want to say you've already missed something biblically, because you're part of the larger body of Christ, whether you want to connect with them in a formal way or not. So that's my first part of the answer. I think the second one goes back to what I was saying about we've been, by God's grace, in the congregations that we've been in the last, as the Alliance, and I think for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had no major clergy congregational breakdowns. We had a couple of skirmishes that were really not any fun. But by and large, no, with one exception at the very beginning, no major scandals. But even in that situation, there was at least somebody there to pick up some of the pieces. I don't think that people understand how badly things can go wrong in a congregation that has no outside network, unless you've been in. So I think positively we can do a lot of things together. We can encourage each other. We can bless each other. We can get input from each other. We can do youth and other things together. But there's also another sort of connecting accountability that we need from each other.
I was in a seminary, a heated conversation over lunch one time with a friend of mine who was a former Episcopalian who was becoming a Baptist, as this former Baptist was becoming an Episcopalian. and we were having this conversation, and it was like we were using the exact same words, looking at each other and saying, are you an idiot? Can't you see what you're leaving? Can't you see what you're getting into? And both of us were saying that to each other. What's ironic is that in this season, many of the non-denominational churches are finding the importance of being part of networks. And so there's this whole movement among non-denominational churches to join some kind of network that provides what a diocese provides. And at its best, the diocese isn't so much about hierarchy as it is what Neil was talking about, this sort of umbrella of protection that says, okay, here's some rules we're going to live by. We're going to drive on the right-hand side of the road. It's not going to condemn them. We're not going to just drive willingly any way we want to. This is how we're going to call clergy. So some of that is very helpful. But at its best, what a diocese does is it provides a kind of support system and accountability system. So instead of the bishop being kind of a heavy-handed, kind of autocrat, the goal is for the bishop to be the one coming alongside clergy and saying, are you helping? Are you holy? Are you effective? And if not, how do we mediate that? What needs to happen? What needs to change? Or the diocese coming alongside parishes and saying, okay, I noticed this parish has been in decline for the last 5 years. How do we change that? What needs to happen? And I think at its best, that's what a diocese can do. One of the things I would love to see happen is I'd love to see a layperson take responsibility for a resource center on the web. And what we would do is we would gather all of the best practices throughout the diocese. And so if any church was saying, we want to start an outreach to such and such group of people, they could go to the resource center and find churches in the diocese that are already doing that. So that becomes a way that we can share what we're doing well, what the Lord's raising up among us, et cetera, et cetera. I'd love to see the diocese training coaches that could be available so that every priest and deacon in the diocese has a coach working with them to become effective in their ministry. And so on and so forth. But those are things that a diocese can do that an individual congregation can't do. And so I think that for me, that's the kind of heart of what we are as a diocese, is a way of providing this kind of networking, learning from each other, resources that could be brought to bear for planting churches, etc. A single congregation could do, so on and so forth. But basically, that support network for